welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
God, it's so
good.
Haven't had a Bud Light in a while.
They're buttery.
You know what we call them? BL smoothies.
BL smoothies?
Yeah.
Who calls them that?
I don't know, like a couple of my buddies.
You know what we call Budweisers? Bud Heavy.
Oh yeah, totally. Because no one drinks regular Budweiser, so it's like you got to specify.
I like regular Budweiser a lot, actually. They're crispier. But
that's like Miller Lite, right? Everybody drinks Miller Lite. No one drinks like
Miller Lite.
Classic Millers.
So the brewery owner next to me was telling me, I was like, dude, there's something about Miller Lite where it's like kind of creamy. He's like, Miller Lite's technically a cream ale.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's not
the best.
Technically a lager. He's like, it's a cream ale.
It's by far the best light beer in my opinion.
It's so good.
It's so good. It beats the BL smoothie all day.
I love High Life though.
High Life's good. No, High Life's a champagne of beers. I mean, that's bougie though.
It's a little bougie. There's less alcohol in that one too.
And they're in glass.
And the bottles actually have less. I don't think they're, what are these, 12 ounce? I think those ones are 11 ounce bottles.
Like High Life's, whenever I go to like a nice Silver Lake bar and I don't want to get a fancy drink, it's like, oh, I'll take a High Life.
You know, I stopped drinking High Life because I found out they were in 11 ounce bottles. And you buy a 12 pack and you're like, I could literally buy a 12 pack of any other beer and have 12 beers.
Yeah.
If you buy a 12 pack of High Life, you're getting 11 beers.
That makes sense.
And then I just stopped buying it. I really enjoyed it though.
Well,
for the time, until my ignorance, I was blissfully living in ignorance, not realizing Miller was just stealing from me. Let's go through our favorite light beers. I like Pabst.
PBRs?
Yeah.
Classic PBR.
I really do like it.
So it's Miller Lite's like the top for me.
Okay.
PBR is good, but PBR to me is like, I like it because when I go to a dive bar, you can get like a PBR and a shot for like 10. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, I don't like PBRs and like, I'm not going to go buy PBR at like a drugstore or whatever and then like drink them, but they're always kind of at the bar with the deal. So I associate like a night out with fun friends with PBR.
When I moved home from Portland, I couldn't understand the price that people were selling PBR for.
Oh yeah.
Because in Portland, the bars were like, it's like a
$2 beer.
$2.
Yeah.
College night was 75 cents a PBR.
Right. Here it's $8.50.
Dude, it was insane.
And it's like, whoa, get some cheap beer.
$5 was a sidecar with PBR. We get a big shot of whiskey and a PBR is $5.
Classic. Yeah, not
it's
here.
Amazing. Ice cold, they're so good. All these beers ice cold are phenomenally good.
Here it's like $12 for the whiskey shot and the beer during happy hour at a dive bar.
Yeah.
That's like the cheapest you can get those two things. It's crazy. You know what's crazy to me is like when you go out to dinner and you have a couple drinks each and then you look at the bill and you're
$200.
like, wait a second. Well, no, but aside from just the actual amount, it's like if I didn't get drinks, my meal would have been $35. Mm-hmm. Like we would have been $35 with tip. But we just spent $150 just because we drank a little bit. And I'm thinking
fanciest dinners, like the menu is rarely like your most expensive entree is like, say you're getting like outside of the ribeye, whatever, outside of the steak, like random steak on the menu.
Yeah.
It's maybe like $37
for like an expensive
the top end restaurant.
Right.
And then you add wine and it's like $40 a glass.
It's crazy. Or like I just want a house gin and tonic. It's like cool, $16. And you're like, what? I'm curious. I mean, obviously America is very different like this. Like you go to New York, LA, probably Miami. It's all $15, $16 for like basic drinks. Mm-hmm. And then everywhere else it's probably more like reasonable and normal. But it's like, dude, when you go to major cities and have a drink, it's like, $80 for a couple people having some drinks. It's crazy.
Skiing at the ski resort.
That makes because they got to ship it up there.
Expensive.
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to a guy next to me and he was like, he's like, I'm whatever. He goes, it's my turn to buy one of these $90 rounds.
Right.
And he was getting like 6 beers.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Oh, that's that. We were talking about the cruise. Oh, the cruise was like that. The cruise was like that. Becca's been out of town. How's that?
I'm surviving, dude. My kids are. So I walked into Evan's house talking about this because The kids themselves are fine. It's the routine of mom not being there, like that routine being broken is what's hellish because they're acting out for the very first time. They're acting out and they don't really even understand why.
Oh, interesting.
So like Ruth, I came into Ruth's room. I was like, hey, like go put on your PJs. Put on your PJs. I'll give you a piece of chocolate. You know, if you get ready for bed.
if you do what you're supposed to do, that's how I am with
I'm like, dude, dad's in the house.
Whatever it takes.
Dad's in the house. I want to be hands off. You're 3 years old now. You're a big kid. It's what you always say. And I'm like, you know what? You know how to go put on your PJs. Do me a favor. Put on your PJs while I'm like wrapping up Frank's situation. And I was like, you know, go do all that by yourself. Give you a piece of chocolate. She's like, okay. Goes in her room. She's in her room for like 10 minutes. She comes out in a swimsuit.
Right.
And I was like,
Nick, you're distracted.
She's like, look at my dinosaur swimsuit. And I was like, okay, that's super cute. But I was like, go put on your PJs, please. She's like, I don't want to. Like, I want to sleep in my dinosaur swimsuit. I was like, you got a piece of chocolate on the line. I'm not going to give it to you if you don't put on your PJs.
Right. How does she respond to that?
She gets really mad about that. And
so she doesn't go, oh, okay.
No, she's like, I just want the candy. And I was like, well, you have to do this thing to get the candy. All you need to do is put on your PJs. You put on your PJs all the time without being offered candy when mommy's home.
Right.
And so I'm not saying that, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And then I go in her room and what she had done was she pulled all the drawers open.
Yep.
Threw everything inside the drawers out into the middle of the room and then went to her bookshelf and just literally like slid all the books off. And she was just standing in the middle of it, like laughing. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, just like chill.
Yeah.
Just chill. And I was like, so you're not getting candy for putting on your PJs, but I was like, but you can if you help me clean up. Like, let's just clean up. Let's not make a big deal about the mess. You made a mess, whatever. Let's clean up the mess. And she goes, oh, my neck hurts.
Oh, she's doing that now.
Left. I was just like, dude. And anyway, that's how it's been.
Yeah.
That's just how it's been. Like, everything is sort of like, I don't know. There's a weird act out every day. No matter like what's going on, and when we wake up in the morning, the very first thing we wake up in the morning, Frank just starts screaming for mom, and I'm like, "Mommy's not here," and then that's just like how the day starts. It's like Frank uncontrollably screaming for Becca, and I'm like, "This is the first 30 minutes of my day, the last 4 days."
Yeah,
it's been awful. Just that part. Otherwise, then it's been really fun, like spending that much time with them, like without and being like, "This is dad routine. This is what happens when dad's in charge." Which is sick because then they're like all hyped up. But like those little moments are really tough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Ember's like, she immediately behaves perfectly the second she has my attention. So it's like what I notice about her is when she's misbehaving or she's being a little disobedient, it's when I'm not giving her my full attention. If I'm trying to kind of do some work on the side or trying to get something done while that's when she can be difficult. But when I'm like, Ember, what's up? Then all of a sudden she's just like, whatever you want, no problem. Because it's almost like, okay, I got your attention. Now I can relax. But because she's so obsessed with like someone paying attention to her and giving her the time that like, it's not about the toy. It's not about the, oh yeah, give me a bunch of toys. And then it's like, she'll get over it in 2 seconds. It's like, I want you paying attention to me right now. And if you give it to her, she's perfect. But that's what's hard. It's like when I'm trying to work or whatever. And then she's just like, Dad, oops. Oh, Dad. Yeah. And she'll do the same thing. Like I'll be really busy. I'm like, Emma, can you go put on your pajamas and come back? She's like, yeah. She comes back, full face of makeup, hair done in a different way. And you're like, and she's not changed at all. And I go, Ember. And she goes, oh yeah. It's not even intentional. It's just like she went into her room, got fully distracted, comes back out with makeup on and goes like, hey, check out my makeup. And it's like, do you remember the whole reason why you went in there?
You said PJs.
I thought you said makeup.
Oh my God. I thought you said, oh, that's so sad. My B.
Yeah.
My B.
MB.
Okay, broads, interrupting the bros for one moment. Ever since I switched my sheets from standard cotton to Ettitude, I have been sleeping like a baby. That's because Ettitude sheets are made from the world's first clean bamboo fabric that is softer than silk, as sustainable as hemp, and uses 500 times less water to make than cotton sheets. Bamboo really is better in bed.
As someone who's not exactly been getting the world's best sleep, I have to say that Attitude's bamboo sheets have made a huge difference. They are by far the softest thing I've ever slept on, so already off to a good start with that. And if you've never slept on bamboo before, you can think of it kind of like silk, but without the slipperiness, and they get softer with every wash. And Attitude sheets are breathable, moisture wicking, and hypoallergenic, so you stay comfortable the whole night through.
Best of all, bamboo is by far the best option for the planet. Clean bamboo is responsibly sourced and made in a completely closed loop system that recycles 98% of water in the process, and the products are climate neutral certified. Like I said, my sleep has drastically improved since I switched to Attitude sheets a few years ago. I mean, I'm sure you all remember I've been shouting the name of Attitude from the rooftop for years now because I am comfortable now the whole night through, and I wake up feeling so much better now that I'm not waking up too hot or too cold or uncomfortable every hour, which is how my sleep used to look like before I switched to Attitude sheets. I love them so much. And right now you can get 20% off your order plus free shipping when you visit ettitude.com/chattybroads. Spelled out, that is ettitude.com/chattybroads. Ettitude.com/chattybroads. This is Attitude's best offer, but don't wait. It's only for a limited time. Order today for free shipping and 20% off your order at ettitude.com/chattybroads. So broads, you know how every time you use a pan for eggs or vegetables or anything really, you have to let it sit in the sink full of water to soak before you can actually scrub it clean, because apparently non-stick does not actually mean non-stick. It's the worst. I don't really want to look at a sink full of dirty dishes the hour or two after my meal. That's one of the reasons I switched over to using Green Pan, the non-stick pan that is actually non-stick, and it doesn't contain any harmful chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win. Traditional nonstick pans either aren't nonstick or they're full of gross chemicals that go directly into what you eat when you heat them. No, not good. But with Green Pan, it's the world's first ceramic nonstick cookware that doesn't emit any fumes when it's used, and it actually works.
This means that you'll have super evenly cooked food, super easy cleanup, and you can cook with way less butter or oil than you normally would need to. Green Pan has full sets, frying pans, grill pans, woks, pots, and so much more, so you can turn your entire cooking experience into a better, healthier one. And by the way, they're gorgeous. The aesthetic on these pans, unbelievable. Remember, healthy cooking is about more than just the food you make, it's the products that you cook in too. And right now, Green Pan has an exclusive offer just for Chatty Broads listeners. If you go to greenpan.us and use promo code Chatty, you'll receive 30% off your entire order plus free shipping on orders over $99. Whether you buy one pan or a whole set, that's 30% off. So head to greenpan.us and use our code Chatty.
Oh yeah, she's so funny that way. She just gets so distracted when she's in the room. Isn't it funny? Like, they don't want to go in the room, but when you force them to go in the room to do something, they just are like, "What's this magical land? What are all these books doing in here?" She's the exact same way. Just takes everything down.
Right now, I'm terrified if they're going in their room. I'm like, everything is like, I can't leave them out of sight because I'm like, if they do, something's going down.
Oh, like they're gonna pull something down or take something off or whatever.
I had like. Someone's like, do you have like 2 minutes? I just need to go over something with you on the phone. Like right after I got home, I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm just making the kids a snack. In that 2 minutes, everything just like, he's on the phone with me and he was just hearing shit where I was like, no. Just like the whole time. And I was like, he's hearing, I was like, Ruth, go put the worms in the backyard. Worms in the backyard. And I'm like, Frank, rocks. We're not bringing rocks. And then I was just like, Frank, Frank, that's pee.
Like you're peeing on the ground right now.
That's when you go to the potty. And I was just like, bro, like I need to call you back. And he's like, what is going on? And I was like, Ruth just like brought a fistful of worms in and was like trying to like put like just bringing worms in the house. And then I was like, Frank is literally bringing shovelful of like little river rocks from the garden and just dumping them on the ground in the middle of the house and then just peed right in the middle of all of them,
Yeah.
with his pants on, and then was just like stomping and his piss, just crying. And I was like, I can't. I was like, this is all. You don't get 2 minutes of my time right now. It's like I'm about to fucking lose it.
Our ladies just have a way that's different than us, and it just
their
works.
routine-
They love our ladies more than us. Let's
This
be
is
real.
the thing: is their routine is being with mom, and then like I don't know about you, when I come home, that's like the moment my truck comes up. They literally run out of the door and are screaming like, "Daddy, daddy, daddy,
Right.
get in the car with me." I'll like reverse in the driveway and drive forward. They freak out about that. And then like, that's like the moment I come home is like Becca relaxes.
Sure.
I have like my time with the kids, but like that's typically my routine. Now when I'm coming home, it's like, where's mom?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
Because she's
you
gone.
guys, like mom's not coming back for a couple days. Like, like it's still just me. And then it's like, that's just like everything just snaps. And
Right.
it's like, why is this like,
Because they do love you, but they love her way more.
The
And that's just the
stability.
reality of it. Because here's the thing. You're a fun treat. So like, I've been with my mom all day. Yeah, I
can't
got
hear
her
that.
locked.
I can't hear that.
You come in and it's like, oh my God, I forgot the clown lived here. I love clowns, but they're not about to swap clown out for mom.
No, fuck no.
You know what I mean?
But it hurts to hear that, to hear it diluted that way. Just distilled.
It's just the
to being
truth, and we can accept
a
it.
clown. I prefer to believe that their schedule, the predictability, the cornerstone is no longer there, and they just feel
Right.
out of control from that.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
rather than us being clowns.
Whatever you.
personally.
We bring the fun.
My preference.
We bring the fun. We bring the, different.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, that stability, that like home base that mom provides, dude, you can't compete.
When Becca was still in the house, Ruth was like, I was like, Ruth, are you really excited to spend all day with daddy? She's like, why? What are we going to do? And I was like, the moment mommy leaves, we're going to eat ice cream and candy and watch TV all day long. And Ruth was like, bye.
Right.
Bye, mom.
By the way, but the reaction is exactly what I'm talking about. She goes, "Why? What are we gonna do?" It's kind of
Totally.
like I'm not sold on it.
She's like, what do you have up your sleeve?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You can't do half the stuff she does.
But then Becca was like still in, and she's like, so when are we going to do that? And I was like, when Becca leaves. And she's like, mommy, when are you leaving?
Right.
And it was like, let's get, I like the agenda you just laid out. Let's do this.
That's clown behavior.
But I was like, we're obviously not going to do that. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
but
She thinks it is.
you're so dumb, Ruth.
Oh my
You little
gosh.
3-year-old.
How do you not know life?
How do you not realize that I was being sarcastic?
How do you not know that I'm
We're not
manipulating
going to
you?
eat candy. We're going to eat vegetables all day.
You're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Well, dude, isn't it kind of crazy to think that the finale was last week and now there's no episode this week?
It is wild. That's thinking about my schedule. My stability is no longer there. The cornerstone.
I know. It was the cornerstone of our life. It was like, yo, here's the drama. We got to talk about it. So, we're going to do some Q&As today.
We have some
We have some
wonderful
awesome questions
lined up.
But let's just do a quick little like rehash. It's been, it was last week. We're kind of coming back in fresh. So, what was your general kind of walk away thoughts on the matter?
Now that I've processed a little bit,
Yeah.
I loved the entire season until the very end. Pretty much.
So you didn't like it, the end?
I was not a fan of the end. I'm not. And look, like, obviously we're on the outside looking in, so our opinion ultimately doesn't matter. But in terms of like, and also these aren't the first contestants where like there's been takebacks and there's been like sort of like a wishy-washy roller coaster at the end of like just things aren't going as planned. I don't really care about any of that. I just am not like a fan of them as a couple.
Oh, sure. Got it.
Like the ending is like, I honestly think like, looking at them, watching the show, I'm like, we've said it we're like, she's clearly the front runner to us. We were saying, I mean, there was an episode where we were like, they seem like they're the easiest fit.
Yeah.
With each other's families, everything is like, we're just like, they're the fit that makes sense.
Yeah.
The most sense. It's and that's clearly what happened, but I'm just not like, ultimately, like, I'm not like gaga over them as a couple. I'm just like, I could literally care less. I'd be happier if it was Gabby
Right.
or Rachel. I just like be happier. I don't know why. I'm just like, that's their whatever. And ultimately, like the last episode and a half left just like a bad taste in my mouth.
I feel the same way. The only thing I disagree with is that I love everything about the whole ending in that I liked the drama. I liked everything that was unexpected. I liked all these twists and turns.
I will give you that.
But it's a little bit like the movie where you do want it to end with a hug and in an emotional upswing, where it definitely ended with kind of a ooh. Like,
well, there was
like
so
they're
many
together and
things.
you're supposed to be happy, I guess, but no one's really happy. That was kind of the vibe, you know?
And it was just like, I mean, this is always my problem with it is, okay, these girls are like, we were in love with, like, they flipped their switches so fast.
Yeah.
Which is something we haven't really talked about, is like going into a critical report. The moment that it was like, I mean, clearly you love to an extreme, you hate to an extreme, but the moment where it was like, you said all this, they're crying on this whole thing, they're crying whatever, and then it was like the moment they're like, and you guys are both going to be the Bachelorette. They're like, who is the Bachelor? Who the fuck cares?
Right.
We're the Bachelorettes. You guys have your little thing, and it was like, okay,
Right.
like okay, like that mood was definitely fixed, you know.
Right.
And then it's also this thing of like, how are you guys going to do this?
I don't.
And the show is just being like, don't worry, we got it. Which I'm like, fine. I'd rather them honestly be on the back foot and have just a fucking train wreck of a season. I'm excited for that to personally.
Yeah.
I want everything to go wrong. And they're definitely not going to be friends at the end of this. They're insane if they think the show is going to like strengthen their friendship. They're going to want to kill each other. But then again, it's also these things where I'm like, dude, like, what is it about? Like, why do I love to just hate the show so much?
Because that's the thing about it. Like, it's like, you know, it's the same experience you have if you're watching Breaking Bad.
Except
right?
that's actually a good show.
But think about it. It's the emotional journey that it takes you on. It's the emotions of it, right? If it just was always played out perfectly or whatever, you would be like, oh, it's great, yeah. But there would be no emotional journey. What you love about the show is that it plays tricks on you. It confuses you. It angers you. It bores you. It freaks you out. Like, it's the journey of it all. I think that's what makes us addicted to it, is that we're talking about people who are half genuine and half like on a TV show. And so our brains are doing the same thing. Our brains know deep down that there's a TV show aspect to it, but we also know that they're human beings who also want love. And so I think it's like that crazy melody of like, dude, we can't figure out where we lie. Is this a true passionate, we're trying to look for love, or are we trying to just get followers, or what and no one can like get on first. So it's just chaos.
I think the true W now is Dancing with the Stars. I think the true win for any contestant.
Oh, if you can get on.
If you can somehow segue your time on The Bachelor to being on Dancing with the Stars, that's the true W.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really the ultimate.
Which, is it just me, or do you like that show?
No, that show is terrible.
I don't get it.
It's actually bad.
I'm like, okay, so I'm watching celebrities dance worse than professionals. Like, I'm not quite understanding what's
American
the draw
Idol, at
here.
least, you know American Idol is going to be good because you're like, who the fuck is this kid? He sings amazing.
There's a surprise aspect.
You're
but
like,
we all know that the celebrity's not going to be as good as the dance partner they're with. And so I guess the whole show is that like, oh, I guess that celebrity is better than I thought they were going to be. It's just I don't get it. Maybe Broads can explain to me what Dancing with the Stars is.
Maybe it's like,
but I don't understand it.
It's like a show where like you could be that dancer.
Oh, so
like if you watch them do it, like they're clumsy. They have two left feet, proverbially. But then like the proverbial extra left foot. You know what I mean? Yes. It's not literal. It's proverbial.
Oh, God, thank you.
And then
wait, so they're not actually supposed to break a leg?
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
Oh, I thought it was like literally go break a leg, like and they snap their leg.
It'd be perverse if it was like I just want to watch you hurt yourself.
Right, that'd be bad. Okay, got it.
I think there's something where it's like the show's supposed to be, you know, you could be doing this. It's attainable. The goal is very reachable. And then I think everyone has to sit back comfortably and be like, well, I could do that.
Got it. Do you think you could do well?
on Dancing with the
Yeah.
Stars. If I had like a
Like
fucking
the training,
coach
like, are
and
you a
all
pretty
that,
good dancer?
My rhythm's not very good.
Got it.
I'm pretty terrible at rhythm, actually. What Becca commends me on is I can effortlessly clap offbeat.
But unintentionally.
Intentionally, unintentionally, I'll just like, if you start clapping, like clap to the beat, I'll probably within like 3 seconds, I'm just doing my own thing.
So if I said clap in time, you couldn't do
If
it?
anything, I was born for jazz.
No, but jazz, they know what they're doing.
Improvisational jazz
Wait, so if I said clap
by myself.
So if I put a song on and said clap to the beat
We
of
could
this.
test it right now. Just
here.
start clapping and I'll just show you what I've got.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna put a song on. Oh, can you do this on YouTube, or will it stop it?
Override it? Well,
Here we
no,
go.
this sort of goes into the parody law where like,
Here,
because we're
just gonna
using
put
it
this on.
for this.
Oh, hold on. Oops, hold on. Nope, I'm all over the place. Here we go. This is a good one right here. Oh, yeah, there's a clap in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, no. Okay. Okay,
See, now I'm on.
No, but that's like a weird clap. Yeah, there you go. That's a weird way to do it. Oh, okay, dude, you're like, I feel like you're a lot better than you. Yeah, you're a lot. Like, don't give me this.
I'm
That was
fucking
good.
fired, dude.
That was good. That was normal.
There's a serious like ad right there.
I was expecting a lot worse.
I could be worse. But anyway, you're putting me on blast and I'm just feeling the rhythm right there.
That was awesome.
Maybe it's that, maybe Becca's the reason my rhythm's off.
Right. So you know what she's doing is she's not letting you know how good you really are.
She's not letting me spread my wings, dude.
That's the thing is she actually saw you dance and she's like, he's a threat.
She's
that's how
intimidated.
good he is.
Yeah.
So she's trying to downplay you because she doesn't want you to kind of get wind that you are that good.
That's sad. I wonder if I should bring that into couples therapy.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt. You're like, and one other thing.
One other thing, Evan heard me clap for like 5 seconds and he says that I was fine. I was totally on rhythm and you keep telling me I'm off rhythm. And so that makes me believe I'm off rhythm, but I don't actually think that I am off rhythm.
And I think this is an analogy for our relationship. We're off rhythm, but because you're telling me we're off rhythm.
Well, it goes back to what I originally said is I'm not actually off rhythm. I don't need to be in therapy.
When you create your own
My
rhythm,
rhythm's
you
totally
can't be
fine.
off of it.
No, exactly. Thank you, Evan.
Yes.
That should be the title of my self-help book
my
that
book.
I tell people. Yeah. When you create your own rhythm, it's actually impossible to be off rhythm.
The book is called You Don't Need Therapy. Start Your Own Rhythm.
Yeah. You don't need therapy. Save your money. And buy my book instead.
Okay, so
that's what I'll do.
I wanna just we're gonna get into these questions, but I do want to have a final what are your final thoughts on Clayton? You could wrap it all up. Not the whole season, but the whole kind of finale.
No, just Clayton. Yeah.
The finale.
Okay.
How everything went down.
Finale. Okay, so my final thoughts on the finale. I'd give it 6.5 out of 10.
No. No. I'm not saying a 1 to 10. I'm saying your thoughts on Clayton.
Oh, as a person? Just
in the
Clayton
finale.
the
Like how he handled the breakups, how he handled everything. Like if you were just to go, I think this.
So boring. So that was my biggest issue with what was going on is with the confrontations on Clayton. Clayton was just doing the like, welcome to the last 5 seasons of this show. Is like, yeah, like I was really just trying to do my best. Like at the end of the day, it's all you can do. Like there's a lot of valuable lessons and like, I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. And like,
not his reaction. I'm talking about like what he did, like the double breakup, I know.
But this is where I'm like, this is the finale isn't like going into that. I'm like, what he did was exactly what you're supposed to do as the Bachelor, which is whatever you want to do.
Oh,
everyone's there. It's like, who the fuck? It's not about, at the end of the day, it's honestly not about anyone else's experience. It's about his journey to find love. It's inherently selfish. It's not about like, they say the whole time, it's like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I'm going to hurt someone's feelings in my selfish pursuit of love, because that's what everyone came on the show to figure out was, do they fit my boxes of what my box is for love? And are you going to put yourself in my box? That to me is the thing. And so when they're like going through these apologies, I'm like, I really wish someone would just be a big enough asshole and just be like, unapologetically, like, you came on the show to date me with 29 other women while I just systematically nix you guys off the show, just sweep you out of the room until it's down to the final 3. And I'm going to choose one of you, and you're all just going to light yourselves on fire for me, and I'm just going to pick one. Whoever it is, it doesn't really matter what my reasons are. 2 people are going to be pissed off. You happen to be one of those 2 people. Freaking, deal with it.
Damn.
Deal with it. That to me is like, I wish someone would say that I just carry that attitude at the end. Just be like, I'm fucking over it. Why do I have to? I'm the Bachelor. Why do I have to apologize? Or the Bachelorette in this way, and be Susie's the one. I chose Susie over you. Deal with it. The same way I chose you guys over all those other girls. That's how I wish someone could just handle it on that couch. And I wish a woman would do the same thing to the guys, of just like unapologetically just like flip all the guys off and just be like, I'm not talking to any of you. None of you were worth my time, which is why I sent you all home. And all you guys are doing is sitting at home, jerking off, talking about me and how pissed you are at me. And he's
coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm coming in hot. I'm just like, I'm tired of this over apologetic.
I got to disagree with you.
Okay. Please, I'm glad you do, or whatever. It'd be less interesting if you just agreed with everything.
Yes. And I go, oh, cool. Next. No, here's why I disagree with you. I don't disagree with the concept that you're going to have to choose someone. But I do think that the way you do it is like, that's life, right? It's like, it's how you do things is most everything. So the fact that like he broke up with 2 girls in the same room, the fact that he led them along, the fact that he told them he loved them and then screwed them over, like, it's not that he chose Susie in the end that's the problem. It's that he like emotionally traumatized these 2 women along the way. And I just think that there's like ways of being selfish in a good way, where it's like, I care about who I love and I want to end up with who but I think that like the way that you do it is how it's like respectful or not. You know what I mean?
But this isn't my thing, is like, when we're talking about like if they could potentially be emotionally traumatized, they certainly didn't look
not emotionally traumatized, but I'm just saying like, you like
they didn't look troubled the moment they found out they were both going to be the Bachelorette.
After that, but I'm just talking about like,
oh yeah, all the weight was lifted.
Well, let's say
Clayton who?
But let's be honest. If someone broke your heart and then offered you
$100,000 and a bunch of followers,
you'd be like, all right, it's a little easier now, right? So, I mean, I don't blame them for that, but I'm more just saying like, and I'm not saying there wasn't selfish parts of it at all, but what I'm saying is like, just to speak to Clayton, like, I do feel like he was completely just concerned about, like, he didn't, not that he was being selfish. He did not care who he burned along the way and how he burned them. I think that's my issue with him.
I don't disagree with that.
How he burned them, not that he burned them. Not you have every right to be like, I don't love you, and this is not. But the fact that he's telling him he loves you, he's convincing them to stay on the show, and then 24 hours later, just being like, actually, I don't like you guys.
Well, I think Clayton was just so malleable.
Yeah,
for the producers, they could probably have just said anything to him, be like, no, I think they probably deserve to know this, and he's like, you know what, you're right, and he just goes in the room and he just like executes, and he's like, so like basically like I was told that I should probably be honest with you guys, so like here it is.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, just all it would take is like an extra 10 minutes.
Mad, and he's like, I don't understand. Like, I was just completely honest with them.
I agree. I think he's just not tracking. I think he's not like tracking on an emotional level, really, to where he's realizing like this is probably a bad idea.
So, I mean, this is one of those. He's like, when people talk about like, oh, he's like golden retriever vibes.
Yeah,
they're not very smart dogs.
Right.
They're super loyal dogs. They're really pretty dogs. They're dumb as a box of bricks.
And he's kind of got like a emotional, he's not really like tracking with like this is probably a bad idea to treat people in a way that like you're breaking up with them in a group.
He's not even thinking about it like that.
While they thought they were getting engaged.
He's literally like, I was honest.
Right. And that's what matters. And it's like,
honesty is the best policy.
Right. And that's true. But there's also like tact with it.
He has none. I could use more tact, but also like, I mean, I'm not, not typically in front of a lot of people when I do those things.
Right. But you know what? It's a style.
It's a style.
But yeah,
But
and
this
I think,
is where I wish we could go back to like 2000. Like I wish 10 years ago, 15 years ago, really.
Oh, like remember Next
Be
and those
so
like MTV
tight.
shows. But I think the difference was those shows back then were more obviously insane.
They were supposed to be.
We're now
You also didn't have social media on the scale that you did, so
Right.
it was like you didn't.
But now the shows blend reality and fake much more. Where back in the days it was like remember like Next and like Flavor of Love. It was just so
Real
much more
World.
crazy.
Real world versus road rules, baby.
So, but now it's like they blend. So it's like people are actually staying together and have kids together and live together for the rest of their lives. And then, but also like in it for the fame. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like we're confused with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this first Q&A.
Okay.
Okay, broads, interrupting the bros one more time. Listen, it may be cliche, but the time we have with our loved ones truly is 100% priceless. Now that I'm a parent, I'm even more appreciative of my parents and grandparents, and I try to be super intentional about listening to their stories and experiences every chance I get. StoryWorth has come up with the best way to make sure those memories are treasured and passed on for years to come.
Oh my gosh, it is the perfect gift, I think, for special birthdays, holidays, or even a just because present, especially for the people who have it all, So each week, StoryWorth emails your loved one a thought-provoking question of your choice from a vast pool of possible options. And the prompts are really unique. They can help you get your loved one if they're really thinking of different important things like what's your fondest childhood memory or what's the best advice you've ever received. And then after 1 year, StoryWorth compiles all those questions and stories, including photos, into a really beautiful keepsake book. And your entire family can share it for generations.
Okay, so this past year, I started a StoryWorth book with one of my grandmas because it's so important to me that her stories are passed on to my daughter Ember someday. And it has been the best experience. I thought I knew her, but StoryWorth has taught me so much about her life, and we've gotten closer in the process. I cannot wait to see the finished book. It's going to be so special. It already is just so special. So get to know your loved ones better and preserve those special moments forever with StoryWorth. Right now, for a limited time, you can save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/chatty. That's StoryWorth.com/chatty to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/chatty.
God, but just seriously, run away with that daydream for a little bit. How lit would it be if they were sitting on the couch and they were like, so what do you want to say to this person? And someone was just like, nothing.
Oh, just full savage. Just full brutality.
Nothing. I have nothing to say to them.
I don't love you. Why would I talk to you anymore?
I sent you home.
Go home. Why are you still here?
I put you in the car with your bags. What do you why? Okay.
Right.
Just like, okay, what do you have to say to me? Just
brutal.
Commercials. Run the commercials.
Run them. How do you guys prefer the double, or what do you guys think about the double Bachelorette season coming up?
Okay, what do you think about it? I said what I thought about it.
I love it.
Good.
Because it's different and we know it's going to be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, my thoughts are like this. I think Gabby's going to handle it really well. I've seen
10 times better than
you know
Rachel.
what I mean? I think we saw the reaction. Gabby was a little bit like always kind of in control of her emotions, in control of the way that she responded. She was really eloquent. She was really like solid. She was always very supportive of Rachel, very supportive of everyone involved. She was very like head on her shoulder. She never overreacted. She never underreacted. When Clayton and the whole drama went down with the breakup and everything, she just what was said was awesome. There was no mixed words. There was no rambling. I think she's gonna handle it great. I think Rachel will be great at first, and so like team girl power, and then one guy's gonna like Gabby. Dude, they're gonna have. I just want like it's gonna just go down.
But that was what was interesting. Was like I will say. Well, and this is where I think they're both. I actually think they both stand to handle it really well, but I do think it's. Like because Gabby just put her foot down in that moment I think it's easy to just see it as a like I don't know that she's like
she's stronger than she is, or she's not as strong as she is. I mean,
in a way, yeah, because she was just like, okay, fuck this, and just like left. But that wasn't like, she was obviously like, yeah, you can come talk to me, and whatever. Instead of just being like closing the door entirely, Rachel then was still hung up on him. So she was like, okay, this is just another obstacle to see if you can navigate through. Like it doesn't say to me, 'cause when I go back to into the, sorry, I'm trying to think of how to articulate it. When we go back to Fantasy Suites, Rachel was just as chill as Gabby during Fantasy Suites.
Oh yeah, no, but we're talking about the breakup.
I know, but
yeah,
in her mind, the breakup was like Clayton kept asking them to like stick through something,
right?
And I think that's what was hard for her, was just like, is this another thing to like stick through,
right?
Or like, is this actually like, no, you're okay. So like this is it. Like,
I think what I like about the double Bachelorette thing is that like there's just no way that the guy that Rachel likes the most is and the guy that Gabby likes the most are just going to perfectly time out.
No, not at all.
To where there's no competition involved. And there's no cross-liking at all.
No, because why would...
Like, are you kidding me? It's gonna happen, dude. And when it happens, it's gonna be rough, because what's gonna happen is this. They're both gonna like the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
One person is gonna think, I'm gonna do the respectful thing. And one person's not. And one person's gonna kind of go out of the way to kind of like get mine. And the other person's gonna be like, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna talk to them. And then they're gonna find out they made out, and then it's just gonna start ripping.
One guy's gonna hook up with both of them.
Yes. And then it's going to be like, wait, what?
One guy, the unexpected guy, like Greg, is going to come back on the show and hook up with both women.
And don't get it twisted. If the producers start to see that they're just totally teaming up, they're going to do something to mess it up. Because they're going to be like, oh, wait, Rachel's into, John, and Gabby's into Mark, and they're, we got to do something.
I was just thinking of like, what if they actually did pull Greg back, but like Greg's been in acting school this whole time and pulls like a Daniel Day-Lewis or like a fucking, what's his face?
Like
the guy
a
who plays
wig
Batman,
and like facial
where
hair.
you like don't recognize him and he's lost like 30 pounds, but there's still some like charisma there.
Right.
And he's just like fooling everybody.
This guy kind of looks familiar. I don't know.
Somewhat
weird. Huh. Anyway.
Is that?
No, it can't be. He just, he comes in and it's bad. It's like a bad mustache that's slightly coming off. And everyone's like,
no one recognizes him.
Yeah,
He's just got
everyone on the
glasses and a
TV is like,
shitty
wait, that's
mustache.
him. And they're just like, hey, what, nice to meet you.
It's me. Why? It's me. Why, Greg? It's me.
Oh, I thought this was good. This one says, thoughts on Clayton's parents' reaction. Like, what were your thoughts on it?
Okay, remind me what his parents' reaction.
Well, his dad was the one that was like, remember when he was talking about Susie, who like walked away, and he's like, I would have done the same thing. And then the dad was also kind of subtly convincing both the girls, or questioning both the girls, Gabby and Rachel, like, are you sure you want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, they were just like clearly disappointed in him.
I loved his parents being like, I just loved the little argument where they were like, she did walk away from you.
Right.
She did make her choice. She got up and left. And he's just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I will not accept that as an answer. Yeah, I was like, I kind of just felt like, I felt bad for them in this way of like, I just felt like they go through this with him a lot.
He's just like, grew.
Yeah, grew. And it's just like, they're always like, Clayton is always doing this. He's always just doing whatever he wants and then burning people for it. And then he doesn't really realize that he's being like cocky, or that he's like burning people for this. And he just kind of does whatever he wants. Like, I felt for them, because I could just sense that they were like, oh, okay, you want to go on the show? What's the show? Oh yeah, I've seen the show. It's pretty good. Okay, cool. Well, hey, represent the family good. And then they walk in and they're like, wait, so you slept with everybody? You tell everybody you love them. They hate you now, but you're trying to win them. What?
Just like
you could just see that, like, oh God, dude, really? And you could see in his dad's eyes, like, all my friends like know we're on this show now, and now it's kind of embarrassing for me because my son did all this shit. Like, you could just see the kind of like, dude, you know better.
Well, like, okay, so like in books, there's like tropes of people.
Right.
And Clayton falls into the simpleton who's like in this, like he's at like an elevated position, but he really is just kind of like it's not all there.
He's not used to it. Doesn't know what to do with it.
He doesn't have a full staff upstairs. You know, I just made that up. I just made that one up. It's good, right?
I really like that.
You know, if it's like up,
they're understaffed.
What's the movie where it's all the people in your brain? Is the Disney movie?
Oh, I don't think I ever saw that one.
Oh, dude, it's pretty good.
It's like all the characters working together.
But it's not a musical, so I can't watch it with the kids right now. There's like if it doesn't have music, we're not.
Oh,
doing
really?
It. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, because they're
like,
not tracking with like plot lines and stuff. It's just songs.
No. But it'd be like if like one person was at the controls, and the controls are really built for like 4 people to be doing it all the time. So everyone's just kind of like half the levers are being pulled, half the buttons are being pushed, but like it's just impossible for them to do everything right.
Baby giraffe. It's like
And so that's like kind of want to see like with his decisions is like he's just really white knuckling through this whole experience.
Yeah. He just pulls the trigger and it's just like, whatever, that misfired. Shots.
But I also feel like that's also like kind of how he's been rated is to just like rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Football.
Yeah. Just like get after it.
Throw the ball, babe. Pigskin. Let's go.
And he's like, all right, you guys, we got a major play coming up right now. Fact is, I'm breaking up with both of you. I slept with all of you and I love her more than you guys.
And I told you I loved you.
That's it. Them's the breaks. If you guys want to talk to me about it, we can do that as a group right now.
I'm gonna go get a burrito,
Camera crew's here. You guys hungry?
Yeah.
Cool. Good chat.
Speaking of love.
Grab your stuff. Car's outside. Catch you later. Thanks for everything.
Yeah,
love you.
There's like no emotion too. Like Rachel's like, how could you do this? And he's like, so sorry.
Look, I'll sign your script. Hags, have a good summer. And
she's like,
thanks so much.
And she's like, you're not even crying. And he's just like, totally.
No, but I feel sad.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
I feel like crying, but I'm not actually going to do that because that's.
He's like, have you talked to Susie in a while? Because I haven't been able to.
Yeah, have you guys seen her? Do you know where she's at? God. Is she still here? Have you guys?
You guys are friends, right?
Because I'm willing to throw you guys to the side whether or not Susie decides to be back with me.
But if you could point me in the direction of her, that'd be great.
In my humble opinion, she's that much better of a choice than you two.
God, I mean, that's how he kind of acted. It was crazy.
That's what I'm saying, though, is I'm like, why can't we just see someone just have that attitude at the end of the show instead of being like, I'm just, I'm learning a lot.
Well, no, but no. Here's the thing. You absolutely highlighted it. What we saw was someone who is that unabashed kind of like more like selfish person who was trying to fake sorrow. That's why it felt so painful to watch.
He really doesn't care.
It's because it was just like a guy who doesn't really get what the problem is.
Yeah.
And he's trying to kind of go, wow, I need to act really sorry because apparently Yordi's mad at me for doing this. So it's kind of like this, I should have learned my lesson.
You know what he should have done?
Instead of someone who's genuinely kind of sorry, they're like, dude, I fucked up. I'm sorry about this. Like, listen, I didn't know what I was doing. Because like, if I was thinking to myself, if I was him, I would have just been like, man, I'll be honest with you. I was totally selfish. I shouldn't have done it. I blew it. And I care about you a lot. And I just realized that I was not confrontational enough to realize that I needed to break it off and follow Susie. Instead, he's just like, I am growing every day. And you could just tell he was like, what was the script I learned again? Like,
he should have talked to Shanae.
And just been like, should we team up as the evil?
What do you do? Just be like, what do you do in this situation?
She's like, say, fuck it.
Like,
you're a two-faced bitch.
Here's what you need to do. Just be like, you need to turn it back on those guys and be like, why weren't you more lovable?
I wish it would have been like, listen, one time I made you shrimp, Gabby, and you didn't say you liked it.
That would have been so. I told some really funny jokes and you only chuckled, and I deserved a full guffaw. And
because I laughed hard at your jokes.
You were not lolling. You weren't. At least what I needed was a raffle. I needed you rolling on the floor laughing, and I didn't receive that.
I got a chuckle the best.
I didn't. I got a haha, and I needed at least 4 ha's.
As a man, can you love 3 women at the same time?
I mean, sure. I don't know.
I mean, that's a weird question. I'm sure you're asking.
I haven't been in that.
Right. I have. No. Currently in it right now, and we're working through it. No, I don't listen, I don't know, right? But I think what you're asking is in this context, like, how did he love 3 women? And what I'm guessing is that like he was confused a little bit between like actual loving someone and like lust and having fun with someone.
I think that's true. I do think that when you go back, I'll stand by what I've said before, is I think it's pretty damn clear to me that he was just saying it because he thought that's what you were supposed to say before taking the girls to fantasy suites.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was actually pretty manipulative and calculated.
But if you notice, that's true. He said it before and after.
He's the first person. It was so wildly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The only context it has was it directly preceded him showing them the key. It wasn't like he said that and then they had a 2-hour conversation.
Right.
That was the very last thing he said before being like, oh, by the way, I have the fantasy suites key. I just told you I love you. What do you think? I'm like, dude, to do that 3 times in a row.
You know what it felt like? It felt like he had been told his whole life, you don't have sex with someone until you love them.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then so then his brain goes, well, it's actually respectful that I told her that I loved her. When in reality it's like super manipulative. But the vibe I got was like, you only have sex with people you love, right? Right, son? And so he goes, oh, I'm going to tell them I love them because it'll make me feel good. It'll make them feel good. Reality is like you're blowing the whole thing up. But aside from that, can you love 3 women?
Yeah,
I think anything's possible, you know, in the certain circumstance. But I think in this case, like what Gray was saying, it's like kind of realistically used it as like a plot to kind of hook up versus like, because it was clear he loved Susie. Because when she threatened to leave, he lost his mind.
He lost his fucking
Where the
marbles.
other girls were definitely kind of like, we had a great time together.
Yeah.
You know, you could just tell. Like
That was cool.
when the threat of losing someone is there, that's when you really figure out how you feel about him. He let the other girls go.
He
like
was
nothing.
basically like, you guys are cool. Don't date my friends.
Right. You guys are cool. Don't date my friends or my brother or whatever. And we might hit you up. But
So tight that his brother was hitting people up.
hitting Teddy up. Like, what's up?
The younger one, right?
Was hitting up Teddy.
Oh, yeah. But the younger brother, the blonde
I
one.
think it was the young one.
Yeah.
But I do love the idea of like, imagine you're my brother and you break up with someone. And I just hit him up like a week later. And I'm like, yo, what up? Are you still with my brother?
What was funny was, okay, what I'm surprised no one's talking about is his youngest brother's reaction when Rachel comes in. Because he's clearly way more into Rachel than he was into Gabby. She was like, wow, like this place is great. And he's like, yeah, my parents found it on Airbnb.
That was one of the funniest things ever to me.
And I was like, everyone kind of turned. It was like, shut the fuck up.
But I loved it because all the producers were like, that's hilarious. Put that in. Because it was like the most nonsensical comment and so unnecessary. Because like it's like, yo, and hey, nice to meet you. And yeah, the beautiful place. And he's go, my parents saw it. They got it.
Isn't it nice?
Do you like it? And everybody's like, what? What was your name again? He's like, yeah, my parents found it. My favorite too was that he didn't even brag. Like, yeah, it's a pretty nice spot, right? It's my own. Not even kind of a joke. No. Just my parents found it. It killed you. It was like, thanks.
It was clear that
I love
like
that kid.
A pep talk to him. Yeah. Like, so you're an idiot. So you're going to be quiet the whole time.
I knew that the young brother.
Even if they ask you, just shake your head. Yes, no.
You're going to ramble on about some shit.
You don't talk. Just don't talk for the love of God. Don't talk.
Pretty nice, right? My parents found it on Airbnb.
The moment
it's like, what?
Cute, like hot blonde girl walks in and he's like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Not even that good. Just my parents found it on Airbnb. Like, oh, okay. Do you think you will be more like Clayton's dad or Gabby's grandfather with your girls?
Gabby's grandfather.
Like little dingbat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Just crying all the time. Just so proud.
Yeah. Also, this is a little bit of an unfair question. Gabby handled herself amazing. So there was be nothing for him to be critical about it. So there's like, let's be Clayton's parents. How are you going to act? Don't be their, I'm saying you're Clayton's dad. How do you act? Because anyone would just be like so stoked on Gabby's performance and she was amazing.
Clayton's dad will probably play the whole season back and dissect it play by play.
I'm saying, how would you be? If that was your son, you walked into the situation, the breaking up, the whole thing. You watching the finale, you're there with them in live, and you see how they broke up with the both of them the same. Like, how would you react?
Fuck, I don't know. If I was watching my kids do that stuff, I don't know. It's tough. I almost feel like I'd want to call Becca's parents and be like, "How do you guys feel when you see this stuff?" Because they've also chosen not to follow any of it. I think that there's like,
oh right, I see what you're saying. I see, because they were a part of like they had a daughter who was on the show, right?
And someone who is like in the like, you know, there's attention placed on like her mistakes. So like I do wonder in that way. I think it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. You never want to be. I don't think anyone wants to watch their kid go do that in a certain way. Man, I mean, you phrased it really well. Like, I think the question is really tough because the situations are so different. I also am like, you know, I'm also guilty of being like, I am like biased in the certain sense of like, how would I treat my son for treating women this way? Versus how would I treat my daughter for handling a guy in a certain way? It's like they're super different.
I agree.
To be like, I'm so proud of you for standing up for yourself.
Of course.
And doing what, you know, putting your foot down and closing doors and doing what you felt you needed to do in that situation and putting up your boundaries.
Dude, if Gabby was my daughter, I'd just be like, dude, you are unbelievable. You're amazing.
Sick. Yeah. But with Clayton, then it's just like, okay, like here's every way you fucked up. And there's also a part of me though where it's like, okay, but then at the same time, like you saw the girl that you loved and you did whatever it took, basically like at all costs to get her, and you did. And she's awesome. So like, you know, proud of you for doing that.
Right.
Because it's like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to harp on that for however long?
Well, my thing would be like, hey, I know you're not a bad person. I know you didn't like, you know, you're not out there trying to hurt people.
No.
But my whole thing would be like, and I'm happy that you got the girl that you love and all that stuff. But my thing would be like, hey, how you got there, some of those bumps, like, let's realize that like people's feelings matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I'd be like super supportive. I love my son. I'd be like, I love that you love someone. I love that all this, you know, I'm going to love you forever. And I got your back all the way. But at the same time, like, let's learn from some of these bumps here, which is like, you burn some people. And I think that's where we can learn a little bit of the bulldozer mentality. Like, you just kind of came in and did whatever you wanted to. And I think that like, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that like, there was some fuck ups along the way.
It goes back to the question too of like, what is I forget what the saying is, but it's like, it's sort of like, does the end justify the means?
Right. Of course.
In this
you have
way.
to
And
address
it's like, does your relationship with Susie justify your public humiliation of these women?
Right. Exactly. And it's like, and those are independent.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. If they have like a few months run.
No, but even if they stay together forever to have 7 kids, it's like, you could have ended the same way. You just didn't have to make those bumps.
Well, this is why you should watch Ari's season.
Yeah. No, but I know that there was drama.
He did the same thing.
I know, but don't you think that was the wrong part of it? Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't have pursued the woman he ended up with. I'm not saying he shouldn't pursue Susie. I'm saying you didn't have to do things like break up with them together. You didn't have to beg for them to come back and then break up with them 10 hours later. Like, you know, all those moves and tell them you both love with them. Like, you could have not done any of that shit and still pursued Susie.
But this is where I'm like, this is where I have a hard time. Where it's like, I see this going down in a way where like, what if Clayton was just like, so what do you think? Like, do you think I should just go talk to them each individually, or should I just save it for the rose ceremony and we just go for it from there? And producers are definitely just like, wait till they're both together. You know, like part of me is also like, the guy's not getting, like, imagine him going through this if he was dating numerous women with like his friends behind him.
Yeah.
Like his actual, like people who actually care about him, to be like, how should I handle the situation? Versus just like a bunch of fucking vampires
If you had to choose between Gabby or Rachel to be the Bachelorette, what would you choose?
Gabby. Easy.
I think I'd choose Rachel because I think it might get a little messier and it might be kind of more wild.
Fun.
Like I think Gabby is the more like, I think she'd be more like in control of the situation, but I would be fascinated. That's true. The contestants are the fun ones. I want the
contestants to be nuts.
But we never had like, I mean, Clayton at the end here for sure, but like we've never had like, I'm sure we have. Listen, I'm no expert. There's been so many seasons, but
so many.
A lot of times, you know, the Bachelor, Bachelorette is a little bit more like in a power position. They're a little more in control, but you got to love when they're a mess too, because it's just a mess on a mess. There's been some, but you kind of like look at those. Those are two big players. So anyone who's kind of like plays, you know, loose and fast with the whole thing, like it does make for like pretty like legendary TV.
That's why I like it.
Thoughts on socks with sandals?
What kind of sandals?
No specifics. I mean, I guess you're
I have Birkenstocks. These are like Birkenstock clogs.
Those are not Birkenstocks. Those are cool. I'm not a big Birkenstocks guy, but those are, well, no, technically they're made by the company, but they're not what you think of as Birkenstocks.
No, but I don't wear Birkenstocks barefoot. I think that's lame to wear Birkenstocks barefoot.
So you'll wear like the Birkenstock, like with the classic
strap with socks for sure.
But never without socks.
I think it's gross. I think your feet get slimy.
Oh, interesting. Like the leather?
Yeah, because the topper on this is suede. And that's not that just.
No, I'm talking about the classic Birkenstock.
Yeah.
You're saying those get weird?
The cork top, like the topping on that, your foot. I've had it like it just like all the gunk builds up from the bottom of your foot in there.
Oh, it kind of gets slimy.
And after a while, yeah, it gets gross. Like if you wear flip flops a lot, there's sometimes like there's just like gunk that builds up and you can feel it and it's gross. And so you're like, I'll scrub the top of my flip flop sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
And you don't do that with your Birkies. So yeah. I think that's pretty nasty personally. What kind of sandals though? I need to know what kind of sandals. Like slides?
Nothing could be less me in the world than Birkenstocks.
I would love to see. I would get you a pair of Birkenstocks and you'll like them.
I literally like you. I can't say this enough. Like there's nothing I would buy last than a pair of Birkenstocks.
That's fair.
It just is so not my style.
I'm just lazy. I love having a little pair of slipper shoes.
I like those. See, I would wear those. But classic.
These are nice. Becca got me these.
I'm talking about the classic two, you know, the two ones.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just couldn't pull them off. I couldn't pull them off.
Too Jesus-y.
To Christ.
What are we talking about here? Are we talking flip-flops? Because if you wear sandals with flip-flops, I think that's boss. Because I'm like, how are you?
Oh, you mean socks with flip-flops?
How are you just dealing with that thing?
How are you just handling that? Yeah, just like that absolute just friction.
Like, wow, you lunatic. I saw a guy doing that today, and I was like, what a nut job. And then wearing slides. If you're wearing slides, like obviously you wear socks with slides. That's the MO. You don't wear slides barefoot. The only people who wear slides barefoot slide their foot so fucking far forward that their toes are hanging off the top end.
Nuts.
And they have like 4 inches between their heel and the back of it. And it's like, dude, why are you wearing that?
Whenever I think of
why?
Whenever I think of a guy who has doing that with the high socks and then their toes are over the front.
Oh, and their toenails are never cut well. They're always like extra long, like gargoyle wizard nails.
Are you saying no socks or socks?
The guys who anyone who wears their sandals, like if you wear slides and they don't wear socks, they always slide their feet so goddamn far forward.
You know where I just felt like I saw that a lot?
It makes me cringe, dude. I'm literally squeezing my face right now because I'm thinking of all these images of people doing it.
That's college to me.
Oh,
when I think you know what I mean? There was always some really tall guy that would do that in college. Like there'd always be some guy, he's kind of like walking, he's like walking back from the showers from college and it's like toes over the front. Like, dude, that I just feel like I would, you know, you go to a friend's dorm or something, you're hanging out and there's always just like, oh, this is Jeff. And he's just kind of sitting there like playing video games and he's like, what's up? And his feet are over him and you're just honestly, like 6'6" for some reason. I have
no tolerance for these people. War on these people. War on A-Rod.
Get rid of these people.
I guarantee you that's how A-Rod wears his sandals.
just over the top.
Over the top.
Where the toes
dude.
are touching the ground.
That's why he's number one reason why he's not a Clubhouse guy is probably because everyone's just grossed out by his freaking sandal behavior. His sandal etiquette's probably just abysmal.
Insane.
God.
Oh,
We haven't talked about that war in a long time. You know, Benifer is like going strong.
dude, you know what's funny you say that?
Which I find odd because wasn't he just flirting
Someone
with
said,
girls?
you look like Ben Affleck. And I just want to say thank you so much. Okay. Appreciate you. I love you. I feel like for some reason, I get a lot of bad comparisons.
Who do you get?
I don't even remember, but they're always insulting as shit. And so it's just nice to get a good one. I appreciate
used to get,
you.
when I had longer hair, I'd get James Franco all the time.
That's a good one. That's a great one.
Yeah, except now he's like a sex offender or some shit.
That's not good.
Yeah,
but
good.
he back then he was good looking, and that's cool, you know. So I'll take
But it was
that
always
all
like
day long.
Pineapple Express, James Franco. Now I get Edward Norton all the time, which is
I could see that. So this is it. I mean, this is the closing statement on the season.
Is that the final? That's where we're at.
That's where we're at, dude.
Okay, my closing statement: 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. There's like nondescript number that kind of just makes you feel like you're okay with it.
Okay, Evan. You have one color to describe the season.
Yeah.
With.
No.
Fuchsia.
The best is I didn't even say give it a rating. You just gave it a rating. It's like if you just said, "Hey, Evan, what do you think of the thoughts on the season?" And I was like, solid. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna segue. I got a lot of comments about people's favorite books when I asked for book
are you
things.
really? No. I refuse to stop the final comments of The Bachelor to talk about
Literature?
your favorite books.
Our fans read, guy.
I know.
Our listeners
Fantastic.
read.
So
They
what
read a
are
lot.
your final thoughts? I'll tell you my final thoughts.
Tell me your final thoughts.
My
please.
final thoughts are I'm actually really excited about the double Bachelorette. I like the fact that it's going to be interesting. I like the fact that I like both of them.
Okay,
So I'm really like excited about the possibility of like
that's positive.
things happening. You know what I mean? I'm really interested in that.
I love your positivity.
I love ice cream, you know? And then I'm also a little bit like I'm also kind of like very cringed out by Susie and Clayton's relationship. Have you ever seen any of the stuff they
The
post?
choke photos.
That's
I
what
was
I'm
really
saying.
going to talk about
So it's like
that.
they played this like
Those are
wholesome
10 out of 10.
Well, they like the wholesome Christian couple, and then there's like weird choking photos and like highly. It's like so that makes me feel uncomfortable because there's something about that like wholesome thing, and then like seeing wholesome people act freaky. It just makes me feel like unsettled where it's like I don't know what it is. It's like awkward to me. It doesn't feel natural.
You know what makes me uncomfortable in it is seeing like all these things about their private lives you don't know about, which is like just his maintenance routines.
That's what
Like
I'm saying.
in
It's
that
too
you see all
intimate.
his chest hair like freshly shaved, like his freshly buzzed, and I'm like, bro, like this is such
It's
a
too
weird
intimate. Well, that's the thing. Is like
thing
anyone
that we're
who's like
seeing in here.
anyone who's like naturally like open about stuff, they're not going to take a video like that. That's them like trying to like be funny. And anyone try to be funny and then it's like way too intimate and sexual and weird because we just saw you being all like, we love each other. And then 2 days later, it's like choking. It's like, it's unnatural a little bit to me. I'm a little bit weirded out by it, but you know.
Also sick though.
I
Good for
guess.
them. Good for him that
Well,
he's just
have
getting
fun,
choked
man.
out.
It's just that the pictures are very strange.
If that's your thing. Okay, let me ask you. Could you see Clayton in all black leather with like one of those zip up masks where he's like not allowed to talk unless she gives him permission? Loves it. Loves every second of it. And he's not allowed to eat unless she says it. Okay, like in Euphoria, you haven't seen the second season of Euphoria,
I've
right?
only seen like 4
Dude,
episodes, 3 episodes.
there's a scene where this girl is like telling this guy like I love you, like I'm yours, and she's like you can you can control what I eat, you can control who my friends are, you can control like all
Like a
these
dominatrix.
things, and that's how I see Clayton. Like that's the speech I see Clayton giving to Susie.
Whoa.
That's how I see the relationship coming together. Anyway, that's my insight. And I'm actually
And that's your final thoughts on the season.
Personally, if that's how their relationship is, I'm super into it and I'm super happy for them.
Got it.
If it's
Find what you love.
Yeah, I really like that picture. I really like that. My final thoughts on it was honest, like the 90% of the season was the most lit Bachelor season I can remember. It reinvigorated me to like want to watch more Bachelor. It's got me optimistic about the next season because of like what we said, like it's finally turning back into like not taking itself so damn seriously.
It's kind of relaxing a little bit.
It's not a serious show. And that's where, and then, at the end, I'm like, okay, the end got a little too melodramatic for me and not just like heightened drama. Overall a win, overall a dub.
Yeah, it was a dub. It was a dub.
Filled with way more controversy than like, I think we were ready for.
Should we throw up the dubs?
Way. I think we should.
Because I straight up feel it was a dub episode.
Dub season. Thank you everyone who was involved in it for making it so wonderful and contentious for us.
A lot of drama, a lot of ups and downs, it was a journey.
It really was. Ultimately, it was enjoyable. And props to the best villain we've seen in a long time.
Props to the best villain. It makes this job fun.
It does.
Because it makes coming in here, like when there's not much going on,
dude, there's nothing
you're kind of squeezing the juice.
Just being like,
but coming in here when there's like, dude, did you see what happened?
You know what it's like when it's not fun? You get limes with your Mexican food. Yes. And when you don't get a juicy lime, when you just get a dry lime and you squeeze it and like nothing comes out, but you see all the pulp in it and you're like, I see it.
Right.
But it's not working. It's just not working. Why is it dry?
Absolutely. My version, when they forget to give me the hot sauce with the burrito.
Ooh.
And then I'm eating the burrito and I'm like, it's good. I mean, it's good, but it's like, where's that kick, baby? Because
I need it.
I need at the end of this burrito for my mouth to be hurting.
Let me ask you this. Is there such a thing as too much Taco Bell hot sauce?
I can drink that stuff.
It's amazing.
Put it in a glass.
What is up with that stuff?
It's unbelievable.
You can get anything from there and just drown it, and any flavor.
It's never too hot.
Any flavor. It's never too hot.
But it tastes unreal.
It's so good. It makes any bean and cheese burrito just like out of this world.
Oh, I kind of want to order.
I haven't had Taco Bell in so long.
Should we order it tonight?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Dude, well, cheers. Cheers to a great season.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers to everybody. We love you so much.
Honestly, like Evan and I taking up The Bachelor was a new thing for us.
It was.
And we're having a lot of fun with it. We're going to continue to do it. Just, bear with us.
Yeah, we got some time here where it's not going on. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some great conversations. We're going to get into some great topics. Have a couple guests here and there if we see fit. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun to buy the time, but then like we're gonna get back into it with the next season with the two ladies. It's gonna be a blast. I'm excited.
It's gonna be good.
Cheers,
you guys.
See you next week. Love you guys so much, and
appreciate
peace and love. Appreciate you.
you.
Straight up appreciate you. Peace and love. Chat soon.